Kurt, tell me a little bit more about new initiatives in point of care that Orchard is undertaking, because I know that there are plans, even though you'll have to tell me how it's rolling out and what the concept is, but I know you have some new initiatives in point of care. I'd like to hear about them.
We do. We believe that point of care testing is going to be critical and an essential part of the whole healthcare system and laboratory. So we've created a new system called Trellis Enterprise, and basically what the Trellis Enterprise system does, it allows for us to be able to take an organization such as AHN or any of very large enterprise geographically spread out organizations and consolidate that point of care testing, make sure we're capturing everything by integration, and more importantly, giving the laboratory and the laboratory administration a cockpit of analytic data.
Okay.
We are able to manage certification for all the users.
Okay.
We're able to track where the analyzers are.
Okay.
We're able to tell what analyzers are online and which analyzers are offline. We're able to know when certifications are about to be due and coming up.
Okay.
We can manage the QC.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple organizations, one a large hospital in Ohio organization that has over 200 sites.
Mm-hmm.
So for a lab manager or a lab director or a QC coordinator to have to, they couldn't, all 200 sites is almost one a day for almost a full year.
Mm-hmm.
Consolidating that into a system where they can look at it all and compare.
Okay.
Are the analyzers working the same across as people's certification? Really understanding how to drive cost out of the system.
Okay.
And then add the value so that that data then becomes statistically usable for the way Matt's organizations and others will use it downstream.
Okay.
That's our goal, and that's what we're working on.
And is this an open system? In other words, are you tied to any particular kind of instrumentation?
We are not. In this case, with the Trellis Enterprise, we're not tied to any type of instrumentation. Just like our laboratory information system, we'll be able to integrate all the instrumentation. There's a new term we're coining in this case too, getting away from the term middleware to vendorware.
Vendorware.
In some cases, you will still need the vendorware because it helps manage the instrumentation. You just can't get rid of it.
Uh-huh.
In other cases, it's just middleware that's facilitating the communication, the integration. Those won't be necessary. You might even call Trellis Enterprise middleware,
Okay.
but it's designed for that whole organization. There's times where we'll be able to just connect directly to the analyzers, and there's other times, depending on how they were created, where we'll still need the vendorware.
I understand.
So, but no, we're instrument agnostic.
And where does the cockpit live? Is that in the office of a point of care coordinator or a medical director of point of care testing or a nurse, or where does it
That's
reside?
a great question. And the answer to that is yes to all the above,
Yes.
and we don't always know.
Okay.
Point of care it's not as easy as just saying the lab director's in charge of it, or
Sure,
the
I
point of care
understand.
coordinator, or it could be a nurse, or it could be a doctor.
Yes.
So one of the very first things is always figuring out who is managing and controlling the point of care organization. And in some really large organizations, they have multiples.
Mm-hmm.
They have one for wave testing,
Mm-hmm.
separate from one for the moderately testing,
Okay.
separately for the one for near patient as compared to the handheld.
Okay.
So you really have to understand how this testing is taking place if you're going to be able to integrate it all.
I understand.
And that we're still learning.
The interesting part, and this happened during my tenure here in product management, was part of our responsibility. The interesting part of the development of Trellis Enterprise, from my perspective now looking back, is it was done to solve the problem of the complexity of managing point of care. So Trellis Enterprise was built to make an IDN enterprise-wide, instruments everywhere, can't keep track of certifications, to really get out of the I'm managing an instrument to I'm managing the enterprise of point of care testing. And it was built from the strength of Orchard and the beauty of Orchard's people as they're simply immersed in the challenges of lab. And so it was built from that perspective, and it should be looked at from that perspective. It needs to be looked at from a lab testing perspective, certainly a point of care testing, certainly, but really from a management of a very complex process through a single point or a piece of software, and it does a great job. It's really a very cool technology.
And we are, I mean, also, obviously, you're virtuosos of interfaces because you're having to interface to other ancillary systems,
Right,
LISs that may not be your core Orchard LIS,
correct.
and then EMR systems and doctor's office
Right.
management systems.
And we've done that our whole careers here at
Yes,
Orchard.
you're
So yes,
very well
we
known
have
for
an
that.
advantage for being able to integrate other systems. So
Okay.
we're using background knowledge, tools that we've had in place to be able to interface to other people's LISs, HISs, EHRs, EMRs, and of course the instrumentation.
Okay.